In this lesson, I'm going to give you some background and context in understanding how JavaScript started, what it is today, and how programming languages and JavaScript work in general. JavaScript began its life as an addition to a browser called Netscape Navigator, which was the predecessor to the Firefox browser. Back then, Netscape Navigator was the most popular web browser. Web browsers at that time didn't have any built-in support for programming languages. In 1995, Netscape hired a programmer named Brendan Eich to write a programming language that could be embedded in their browser, and this came to be called JavaScript. Side note, while the name JavaScript often leads to assumptions that it's a subset of the programming language called Java, it is not. While there are similarities in syntax, the two are distinct and quite different languages. While there were and are other languages that could be used for client-side programming, JavaScript became the dominant language for that purpose for multiple reasons, such as its adoption by an international standards body, and multiple browsers adding built-in support for JavaScript over other languages. Thus, it grew to be the language most used for client-side web development, which continues to be true today. JavaScript was created initially as a lightweight, client-side scripting language meant to add more functionality to browsers. At first, it was only used inside browsers. Since then, it has evolved into much more. And today, it is not only the de facto programming language for web browsers, it can also be used to build desktop, mobile, and server-side applications. In fact, the code editor you have been using, Visual Studio Code, is written with JavaScript, and both the desktop and web app versions of Slack are written with JavaScript. That's not to say that JavaScript is well suited for every type of application. For instance, if you want to code games with very intensive graphics, there are better choices than JavaScript. But it is well suited to many other types of development, especially web development. But I don't have to tell you, I can show you. Every year, the website StackOverflow.com produces a developer survey that's the world's largest and most comprehensive survey about developers. Their 2019 survey involved nearly 90,000 developers of all types. And if you look at the most popular languages being used by developers, we can see that JavaScript is at the top, not only of the all respondents list, but of the professional developers list as well. The language that we call JavaScript was submitted to an international standards body called ECMA International in 1996. This organization released the first official specification for JavaScript in 1997, and this was given the name of ECMAScript. Since then, technically speaking, JavaScript is considered to be an implementation of the ECMAScript specification. But you can more or less consider the terms JavaScript and ECMAScript to be synonymous. While the current version of ECMAScript is ECMAScript 2019, the last version to come out with major changes was in 2015. This version is referred to as either ECMAScript 2015 for the year, or ES6, as it was the sixth version. ES6 contained many major improvements and additions to JavaScript. Many JavaScript libraries and frameworks exist, such as React, Angular, Vue, jQuery, and others. These are not separate programming languages, but open source tools built using JavaScript. When you hear the term vanilla JavaScript, that refers to the core JavaScript language without the use of such technologies. In this bootcamp, you'll learn vanilla JavaScript. The following bootcamps teach JavaScript-based technologies: React, React Native, Express.js, Node.js, and others. To learn to use those other technologies, you need to have a solid footing first in vanilla JavaScript. Think of it as you need to learn the alphabet first before you can learn how to write sentences. To answer the question, what is JavaScript, we need to touch upon one more question. What is a programming language anyway? I'm not going to get super technical in this explanation. I'm going to just give a very broad definition suited for those who have never used one before. A programming language consists of a set of statements which are instructions that you want the computer to carry out. These instructions can be anything from making mathematical calculations, to reading and writing files, to sending data over a network, to accessing the built-in functionality of another program, and more, much more. Every programming language has its own particular syntax and vocabulary, just like any human language, such as English or Spanish or Korean. They are languages that we use to talk to computers and tell them what to do. Computers are very powerful, and we humans can use that power to our advantage. But we have to learn how to give them instructions in very precise and logical ways. For example, let's say that we have a JavaScript program that asks the user to enter a password. For simplicity's sake, let's say that it's a hard-coded password. The JavaScript code to check whether the password is correct could look like this. This code tells the computer to check if the user-entered password matches a certain value. If it does, then it will let the user know that the password is correct. Otherwise, it will let them know that it's the wrong password. What you're seeing here is a basic example of what's called an if statement in JavaScript. Learning JavaScript means that you will learn many different ways to give instructions to the computer, such as with this if statement. And you have to be careful and precise with how you give those instructions. To illustrate this, take a look at this code. Can you spot the difference? This code has a mistake in it. It will say that the password is correct no matter what password the user gives it. The difference is in this line where the correct code uses 3 equality symbols and the incorrect code uses only 1. Due to this mistake of just a couple of missing characters, the incorrect code would give anyone entry to the secret layer, even if they had the wrong password. With this, we come to the end of this introductory lesson. In the following exercise, I'm going to have you jump into writing a little bit of JavaScript yourself and embedding it into an HTML page.